shorty playing in the front yard of the crib. Fell down and I bumped my head. Somebody helped me up and asked me if I bumped my head. I said, yeah.
Alright, moving right along. Painted in the hair and the box. And now we're ready to go turbo wash. So, as you can see, I've got a number of different colors that can be washed at the same time, and that's done on purpose. So I'm going to go Griffin Sepia again on most of the trench coat and the hair and the box. So let's get going. So this is a washed down Griffin Sepia. And the nice part about this is you can go super fast. And you don't need to be terribly worried about this spilling onto other sections, because as you know, the flesh is also washed with Griffin Sepia. And so is the tabard. And so is the trench coat. You can't really screw this up terribly bad, no matter how inaccurate you are. Now, that's great and all. Great technique for speed painting. What are the downsides? Well, the downsides is this becomes incredibly hard to touch up. So, there is a price to be paid for all this speed. But that said, I think it looks pretty awesome. What do you think? So far, looking pretty good. Once again, watch your breakpoints when you're washing. If I were to stop right there, it would look horrible. So I'm going to keep going. Just keep going. You don't want to miss anything. You don't want to be going so fast either that you create bubbles for yourself. That's bad. On the box you can go fairly heavy, because that gives the box a little more character. Shows off the little symbol there. If you go way heavy, like I just did, pick it up and move it. Not difficult. And now I'm into the hair. So it's looking pretty good. Wow. Alright. Do the underside of the hair. A lot of wash is going to hang out down here. And you can go back and highlight again, because if the paint doesn't hang out in there too well, you might end up with something that looks a little too orange. So this is looking alright. If you don't like this particular tone, you can always try Ogryn Flesh, which is nice, gives it a little more ruddy look. Or you can try Devlin Mud. However, I'm going to do Devlin Mud on the boots and the belt, because that's my formula, my leather formula for this model. Let's do that. Onto the regular form here. You can see that just really, bam, that just really knocks out the model. Really nice. Instant shadow. You don't have to work terribly hard. And I'm a big fan of not working terribly hard to get the looks that I want. There we go. So regular Pandora, almost done. Really the only things to do is the boots, the belt, and that kind of open flame thingamabob. Once this wash step is down, Turbo Wash is awesome though. If you can line up your color scheme so that you can just do mass wash like that, then you can get stuff done really quick. There you go. See that? Go into the hair here. Okay. So while that's drying, I'm gonna hit it with the Devlin mud and the leather parts. There's not too many leather parts. Right through there. On the avatar. Right through here. Wow. That's it. Gotta let that dry, then I'll do the laces. Then at least the Pandora part of the Pandora avatar will be done. Then I can do the tentacles, which I don't expect will be too hard. Probably gonna go with a green on the tentacles there. And I'll match the green with what I'm doing here on regular Pandora. These models are basically done though. That's a lot of wash I got on that boot. I'm gonna have to fix that. Not terribly concerned about it though, because washes are super easy. They tend to clean themselves up quite nicely if you just don't cause them to stain, don't make any bubbles, and stop at the right points. You'll be fine. So I'm going to let that dry. While that's drying, I'm going to start on the green. Now the green here, what I'll do on the stand here, the tentacles, is some yellow ochre as kind of the sucker part of the tentacles, and then the rest of the main body itself will be the greens. So I'm just going to hit the insides here with that yellow ochre. Once again, one of my favorite colors just because of how versatile it really is. So back through here. I'm going pretty thin. It's kind of a good idea to go kind of thin here because then you'll be able to, when you wash it, it's going to look really nice, kind of vibrant. And when you transition from green, it's also going to look really cool. Watch the bubbles on the suckers too. I know I'm going pretty quick, but trying to make sure I don't get too many bubbles, because that's upsetting. So, onto the subject of Neverborn. Or I should say, back to the subject of Neverborn. What do I honestly think about the Neverborn? Well, I like certain things about the Neverborn. Probably going to be playing a Lilith crew at some point, and like I said, and kind of experiment with a Dreamer crew. Try to just get away from the whole stigma of Neverborn or broken or whatever. I don't think they are. I think when you have two people that aren't knowledgeable about the game, then I think that's going to be a very common reaction. to playing against Neverborn is, oh, I can shoot and I'm strong, but his crew, he can run around and do all kinds of trickery to me. And if you don't know what you're doing, with a Neverborn crew, you can get beat up pretty bad. If you sort of know what you're doing with a Neverborn crew, and the other guy sort of doesn't know what to expect, you can beat people up really bad. So really, Neverborn, their whole power, a lot of their power kind of lies in expectations, knowing what to expect, how to counter it. You know, they're a crew that if you don't face often, you're gonna lose to against them at least the first time out. But once you actually kind of learn them, or you know, maybe even start playing them, I think you're gonna understand that they're not, you know, this uber broken auto win thing that people seem to say they are. They do make for some rather competitive crews, though, because of their speed and because they play off of a lot of things that, let's say, your average competitive gamer is really looking for in a crew. Then yeah, I can see that. But that doesn't make them broken. It just makes them, let's just say, the competitive crews of choice. Even I can't even say that. I mean, competitive crews, a lot of people say Dreamer, Pandora, Karai, Colette, Hamlin. So it's not all Neverborn, but Neverborn tend to have the skill set that competitive folks really like. Are they winning every tournament? No. Are they showing up in every tournament? Well, a lot of them. Probably not all of them. In fact, the first tournament I ever held as a henchman, we had no Neverborn players. That was interesting. I was just expecting somebody to show up with Neverborn and be more knowledgeable than everybody else, and then that would start a stigma. Thankfully, that hasn't happened. I mean, we've got a great Neverborn player in our crew named Matt, but, you know, I think everybody in our crew is kind of wise enough to know that Neverborn aren't this stupidly overpowered faction that they're often portrayed as. Okay, so there's the base green. Here anyway. Alright. I'm going to do lots of green on this. It's going to be interesting. Actually, I've been having the roughest time trying to get my Funtac to actually hold on to this gigantic model. It's just dimensionally awkward. And this brush is way too small for how quickly I want to move. Let's go at least with something a little bit bigger. Why don't I go with my I'm gonna go with my Reaper number 2, which is a little bit bigger. You could pretty much go with a tank brush on this thing if you wanted to. I don't think you guys want to watch me paint tentacles, so I'm going to stop it right here, and we'll be back with the next step. Alright, moving right along. Doing okay. Base green is down. Time to go with a little bit of highlighting here. Whoa! Move over. And this is the first highlight. It's really not going to be too much highlighting on this stuff. It's pretty simple. As you can see, I'm not using the nice Winsor Newton right now. That's really it for that first highlight. That's all you really want to do. Just lightly pick it off. These colors are going to blend quite well. Still a little wet here, so I can't do that yet. I can ink the insides of the tentacles now, so why don't I go ahead and start that. So the beige parts, if you will, ink those. And then once this slather of green I have down dries up, I can actually start the highlighting. But no, this is all I'm going to do for the suckers, honestly. And it should look okay. See, that green is still really wet there. I'm going to have to fix this part. A little too much green. Too much run. Then I gotta get some shadow onto this beige before I do the massive amounts of green that this model now has. Trying my best to control the moisture of the water. And it doesn't look like too much right now. Pandora up top looks kind of cool. Anyway, I'm gonna stop, let this dry, then dry brush that first light green. Alright, first highlights are down on the green. Next step is to go up one lighter, where I'm almost at white actually. Almost at white. And oh, you're still in the way, Avatar. Alright. And really just catch the tips. Now, I know in a true lighting scheme, the lightest part would be in the middle. If you've ever looked at the way fire burns, the light tends to be in the middle part. However, for this one, I'm kind of liking the whole that look. I don't know, I think that's kind of cool. So that looks good. There. On here. Just gonna... Oh, it's bad. A little too much there. Didn't wipe off the brush. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a glowing edge around things. Again, just super light with the brush. Nothing too fancy, you guys. Alright, second highlights are down. And that's about as far as I'm going to go with these. All I'm going to do now is drop a wash of Thraka Green over this. Give it a little cartoony look if I need to. I can go back with one more highlight, but I probably won't need to. At least not the way I'm planning on having this look. So, just a wash here into the corners, into the crevices, will also help feather out those other highlights I've got. And the model, this one's done. Pandora is done. I'll just paint the base black so that when she's dry, you guys can have a look. And now for the big honker. Ooh, who's been having massive problems staying onto this thing. Go with a bigger brush for this part. So I can go with a bigger wash. Get her to stay on the base. Let's just do that. There you can already see it's kind of got a neat little glow going on. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, so I'm going to do this, and I will see you at the finish line. Alright, so they're still drying. Last shot though. Just thought I wanted to show you the finished Pandora avatar. You can see the ink still drying and the bases, and the finished Pandora. So not too bad. You can see I painted up the rest of the crew here the other night. So you've got like Teenage Angry Candy there, and you've got little Baby Candy and Baby Cade, and you got 3D Sorrows, which I painted like they're like smoke. I was smoking a cigarette one time. I thought about painting these guys, so I was like, hey, cigarette smoke, that'd make good sorrows. So that's it for this crew. They're now done. I'm gonna seal these ladies up tomorrow, but overall not bad. I thought they looked kind of cool, and let's just hope that the owner is gonna be happy with them. And that's it. I mean, that was the first sort of commission job I did. So that's it for this episode of Painting for Gamers, and I hope you guys will catch me next time. Just a reminder, the contest is ending soon, so please get your entries over to me within the next week or so. So that's it. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks. Good night.